What's up, everybody? Is Make It Make Sense and sipping the Monty. What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
I had to call my boy because you guys, we only have 2 more readings. We're doing the second to last reading tonight, and then we have one next week. So I was like, Monty, you jumping on this or what?
Yeah, and when you told me the subject matter, I had to tap in.
Guys, so one of these chapters is only 6 pages.
It's a skim.
Double spaced. So we're gonna breeze through this. We're gonna have Monty here for the reading, and then I open it up to some callers. If you guys want to, read her down as well, you're more than welcome to do so. Hey, everybody in the comments. And Monty, I just got monetized like a couple days ago. So
congratulations. Congratulations. The hard work is paying off.
I'm still broke. I'm gonna give you guys the real. YouTube don't pay that well.
I heard.
I might be able to get a few cupcakes with what I've made. Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and jump right in. She's down for the count. She's down for the count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My brother screamed to a small crowd of kids, all watching me get my ass beat. I must have been only 10 years old at the time, so I had never been in a fight before. I had never wanted to be in a fight before. And here my brother was egging on the bout. Instead of sticking up for me or protecting me like I thought he would have, Hosea was screaming at the top of his lungs, being the damn referee. The streetlights were about to come on in our neighborhood, and we were all about to scatter home. But this girl, whose name I can't remember, probably for my sanity, claimed I hit her. We were all in the middle of a basketball game, and I knew it was not contact sport. Sometimes you had to throw your weight around on the court, but now this girl was taking things too far. Let me go, I screamed with my eyes closed tight, trying to swing my arms as hard as I could to get this girl off me. I swung and missed. I swung another time and landed on something, but that little fist slipped off as it quickly landed, so it didn't make enough of an impact to slow her down. I opened my eyes to see her focused on me. As she ran towards me, I braced for impact and felt my body collapse to the ground. She had my ponytail. My hair was really long back then.
Define really long.
I mean, it was so long. You were wearing exotic weave to the football games.
Well, you got to have something to connect the exotic weave too. So she had a little something.
So, okay, she said, I braced for impact and felt my body collapse to the ground. She had my ponytail. My hair was really long back then. Inside her clenched fist, my face burned, but everywhere else in my body felt numb.
That a mess, and it went right with the story. Oh my God.
No, the girl screamed back, refusing to let my sleight of hitting her slide. Although I honestly don't think I hit her at all, and if I did, it was definitely by accident. Next thing I knew, I felt my entire body weight sit on top of me while I lay on the ground. My chest felt like it was about to give up and give out. Oh, I think she's down. She's out. It's a TKO, my brother narrated for the growing crowd, who were ducking down around him to see the final moments of the match. Thank God cell phones weren't really a thing back then, because if the latter trend on social media, I'd honestly have no words. As the streetlights flickered on, quietly sounding the alarm for all of us to head back home, I stood up, wiped myself off, and hurried off home. Was that the same for you? Because when I was young, once the streetlights came on, I literally had to run. Was it the same for you?
Yeah.
So every black household, the streetlights was your curfew.
Yeah. The streetlights came on. Yeah, my mom was already out there waiting on me. Like, if I wasn't coming, she was coming to get me. So it was one or the other. You can come in on your own, or I can drag you in.
Yeah, I got popped a couple times for coming in after the streetlights.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we walked through the door, my mother took one look at me and wanted an explanation. With my body still throbbing, my mind not moving fast enough, my brother answered for me. She got beat up down the street. You got beat up, my mom said with concern. I told my mom the truth, that Hosea had stood by and watched some girl beat my ass. I got ready to watch my mom get my brother together for not protecting his baby sister. But instead, she had the nerve to say, how you going to let that girl beat you up? You should have beat her ass. And that's why years later, I had to beat my castmate's ass. I made that up. She didn't say
Oh my God.
Okay, so sorry. So I have chat's moving a little fast for me, but I don't mind giving you an update. So right now, Porsha is jumping. So we were in her adulthood. This 6-page chapter is literally just about this fight. It's really, it's like, it's what Porsha would think a chapter would be. So it's 6 pages. Now, we're not going to really get into the fights that she had, all 4 of them, or 5 if we include what happened with Giovanna. That's why me and Monty are going to include those fights.
Yeah.
They didn't make the book, but they made our minds and our hearts and our spirits.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, she didn't say that's why she beat her castmate's ass. I was stopped in my tracks. It was bad enough I had to take a beating, but now I felt like I was getting another beating all over again, and from my own mama. But even though my face looked shocked, she didn't stop there. You stay from down there if you're going to get beat up, she warned me. Don't you be walking around getting beat up by nobody. And now we know where it started.
And now we know. It was beaten into her.
She never looked back.
She got that one ass beat and she said, that's enough for me.
Porsha Kung Fu Panda. And my mama was right. It didn't matter if my brother or my friends from around the way were there. At the end of the day, I needed to stand up for myself and protect myself. Clearly, nobody else was going to do it for me, so I needed to learn how to do it myself. Although I got my ass beat that day, I learned an invaluable lesson I take with me through my entire life. If I'm ever in a fight, I ain't going to be the one getting beat up. It's very telling, Monty.
Very telling. Hey.
Gabor says his mama would have lined all 3 of them up to fight that girl. Now, so
my mom's motto was, don't come back. Kind of similar. I got to be honest. It was, don't come back here telling me you got beat up or you got jumped. And, it's brothers and sisters of y'all in the mix. So whoever, if somebody was beginning to get the best of your sister or your brother, you better jump in and fix it. Not nobody coming back here beat up. That was my mom's motto. So it's kind of similar.
My mom said, if you get your ass beat, I'm going to beat your ass. Flat out. So that was it.
Yeah, my mom did. She was like, another one she told some of my other siblings, if you got beat up, don't come home. Don't come here. Don't come back in this house with a beaten ass. You better fix it.
So I think that she put this little segment in because she did jump like she does. I think she put this segment in because it was her way of acknowledging the fights on Real Housewives of Atlanta without actually acknowledging them. So she, again, isn't really taking ownership. She's basically saying that her mom put this in her, that if she's going to fight, she's going to beat some ass. Like, accountability is not her thing. Okay. Before Bravo asked me to return for a second season, I could have sworn my first reunion on The Real House was going to be my last one. So I honestly just wanted to get the day over with. I didn't have a husband anymore. Why would they keep me? It was a crisp morning that day in late March when a car picked me up from my house, headed to the Biltmore Hotel, where I'd film the reunion for 12 hours and then meet a gentleman caller. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Okay. I'm going to stop doing that. No more ad libs. She was not meeting. Hold on. I don't want to be Tasha Cade. She was not meeting. She might have met a gentleman caller that day, but I don't know that was the case. That wasn't in the book.
I'm sure she did. She had somebody there to pick up the pieces.
I showed up empty. I literally had nothing to give. I was going through a divorce. I was depressed. I was barely eating, barely sleeping. I had lost so much weight. When we filmed, I was only 145 pounds. I was so skinny. By the time the season had ended, Cordell had stopped filming, and I would have to sneak the camera crew into my house to film confessionals. He'd leave and go to the golf course, and I'd call and say, okay, you can come now. It was a whole mess. Now, I just want to pause really quick here because Porsha tried to make it seem like she had no idea at the time that Cordell wanted to divorce her. If you remember, she was actually saying that everything was fine. She was talking about the conviction of a wife. And the next season, she said that Cordell had divorced her and she found out about it through the blogs. But in this book, she just let us know that he had stopped filming, wanted nothing to do with her, and she knew that the divorce was coming. Like
it was. Lord, this lady.
Monty wore his hair in a bun, y'all, because he came ready to fight.
Right, because we was talking about Porsha and fighting. I said, I ain't gonna give you a lot to grab now. I couldn't find nobody to braid it, but I'm gonna tie it back.
Divorce Monty, that better be the blood of the Lord you're drinking on a Sunday afternoon. I don't see no red though. What are you drinking?
Oh, it's this Stella Rosa red apple soda.
Oh, he's very classy, y'all.
Yes, red apple wine. It's the drink of the high society.
I thought that was Cynthia's wine cooler.
Huh?
I thought the drink of high society was Cynthia's wine cooler.
Oh well, you know, well the new high society drink will be the Simply Lemonade wine coolers when they come out this summer. I'm already predicting that they'll be sold out before they even hit the shelves.
So are you trying to say that you don't drink her Moscato, her peach Moscato?
Oh, I do. I do.
You do?
But yeah, I do.
Oh,
I do. It's just there's none in the house right now, so I have that, and then I have this this one of their newer flavors. It's giving communion wine. It's giving that's why the bottle is kind of full.
Not communion wine. Okay. Oh. So trying to convince Cordell to show up to the reunion was a lost cause. I tried to convince him anyway, only for him to tell me, I'm not going. You can have that show. All season long, I had to deal with the ladies questioning my marriage, questioning my desire to be submissive, and questioning just about everything about Cordell. It felt like I was walking into a battleground without any armor. I had to deal with Cordell, once again, not being a man of his word and supporting me. I thought that filming the reunion, the one time during the entire season that all the ladies sat down with executive producer Andy Cohen to talk about everything that had happened, was going to be fun. But before I joined the franchise, I imagined I'd be serving looks while serving shade on the couch, getting everybody together for the shade they threw during the confessionals. But in reality, I was terrified. Side note, Andrea Cohen got her star on the Walk of Fame this weekend.
Is she with child?
She might
be. She's carrying high. It must be a boy.
She might.
It looks like she's carrying the child in her chest.
I wanted Nene to show up.
Yes. She said, all we have to do is me and Andy have to talk and then it's off to the races. I'll be back for season 15. Those are her words. She should have showed up. She should have crashed it.
I don't think he deserved a star, but okay.
Right. Well, he bought it, so
like his men.
Right.
I thought that film. Where's my allegedly? Hold on. Okay. I'll be flashing all kinds of banners, guys. First off, make sure to go and support Monty. He's both on Instagram and YouTube. So yes. I'll be flashing his Instagram link. I keep telling him to do a YouTube video, but it hasn't happened yet.
It will happen.
Okay.
It will.
Okay. I'll be there.
And I do Instagram lives all the time, so it's not like I'm scared of the camera.
I mean, you do have that good Hawaiian silky natural hair.
It's giving Samoan trade tonight.
But follow him on YouTube because we definitely is sipping the Monty on YouTube because we definitely want him to start doing some videos.
Yes.
This was before my cast members could coordinate a color to wear on the reunion couches. So I picked this floor-length black gown for what I thought was going to be my last ever filming for the Housewives. Every Housewives has its own unique relationship with Andy, other executive producers, the infill producers, your castmates, their husbands and children. But because I got thrown in filming without much support or a playbook on how to film a reality show, I made so many mistakes. I really had to learn the hard way. When I first joined in season 5, I didn't realize that producers on the ground were steadily listening to you, learning about little things happening in your life and trying to decide if that tidbit for the show's narrative or the story that they're trying to craft for you that season. I didn't realize it was part of their job description. After spending hours, days, weeks, months with producers, you become friendly with them. Look at my co-star Kandi Burruss. She even married one of our producers. I think that's a little shade.
That's a little shade. That was shade. And he drove a smart car.
Well, Marlo said he was driving Candy's car.
Oh. And she took care of him.
Oh, actually, what she said was Kandi takes care of the boys and the girls.
She kind of ate Kandi up at that reunion.
I could take care of every mother in here if I wanted to.
Oh, good.
No, Renee, I did not ad-lib that. So you definitely get close, but if you're a newbie, you might make mistakes producers on set for your friends and they're not. So now you're running your mouth about things that honestly don't intend to let millions of people into, and then you're forced to put it on the show. Now I know better. Now I know not to share any more than I want to show. But yet you talked about Kenya's relationships all being fake. But clearly you're letting us know that after this first season, yours was fake too.
Right.
No, I did not add that part. That's what she wrote in the book. She talked about Kandi marrying Ty, just like Mama Joyce did. I also got used to having uncomfortable conversations on camera. If cameras weren't following my life, I'd have a disagreement with a friend and maybe avoid it until it cooled down, or maybe just avoid it forever, sweep it under the rug. Well, on reality TV, you have to face everything. If you go to lunch and say something and one of your friends repeats it, producers aren't going to ignore the fact that I should feel some type of way because my friend repeated something I told her in confidence. So now I have to confront her. It makes you face conflict and deal with issues you wouldn't deal with normally. It definitely makes it more difficult to form long-lasting friendships because you're always dealing with conflict. Many of the girls will have some alliance instead because who wants to be the odd housewife out on the reunion couch trying to defend herself? Nobody. By the time I sat down on the bright neon green couch at the reunion, I was ready to defend the person I truly was and the woman whom fans had yet to meet. I wasn't a kept housewife. I was an entrepreneur who gave up everything because she fell in love. That's a lie.
She's sticking tough with this entrepreneur thing, ain't she?
I was an entrepreneur who gave up everything. You had a failing business. The daycare was failing.
That other men were funding.
That your cooch was funding.
Yeah.
That's why I think she was so mad with Cynthia, because when Cynthia kicked her in the baby door, shout out to Jolene, she couldn't work for 2 weeks.
Right. The Tootsie Cat was the business. So that's the business that she owned. That's the money maker.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. I mean, it's the oldest profession. Where's my allegedly banner? Okay.
The way you just slide stuff in.
Okay. Where were we? So I let everybody have it. I'd had enough of being poked and prodded about the choices I had made in my life and in my marriage. Just as I had suspected, Cordell was targeted for not being a supportive husband and for being controlling. While he might have been all those things and even more behind closed doors, on that couch, I still protected him. I protected us. I protected our family. I let it all out. I preached a 4-minute sermon saying I was still a wife, trying to figure it out. I'm not perfect. Cordell is not perfect by far, but he's my husband. I sat on that couch. I was real. I was authentic, and I wasn't going to shut up and be dismissed. Then in true churchy fashion, I finished it off with a rendition of Amazing Grace. I was authentic and transparent that day, and that's what made Andy say, keep Porsha's entire 4-minute speech in the reunion, and let's have her back on the show for another season. That's not true. Candy already let us know that she went behind the scenes and made calls for Porsha so that Porsha could stay on because they did not want her.
Ooh.
But
yeah,
again,
Porsha was out of there the first. That's from what I understand too, right?
I'm surprised that Porsha is not telling us that she broke loaves and passed it around to thousands of people with Jesus. Like, she will make up a story.
Yes,
And stick
she
with
will.
it.
That is a narrative creating little heifer right there. She will just create something and believe it.
Mm-mm. If my first reunion taping was about finding myself, my second reunion taping was about losing myself. By the time I sat on a very different couch during our 6th season reunion, I had been accused of cheating on Cordell, and it did not sit well with me at all because the number one thing that I prided myself on during our very foul little marriage was that I never cheated on him. Although he cheated on you, he was really with somebody else, and we don't know, we can't say his name, but that singer that's in trouble, Mr. Kelly.
Right,
There
yeah.
was some overlap between her when she was dating Cordell and him. But,
Right.
okay, Porsha. Wait.
That's what that song "Same Girl" was about.
I don't know that I could read it in my Porsha voice. It's really high. Okay.
Oh my god. It's like that, right?
Triple T, bitch. Remember that?
I am gonna cook his meals. Remember that?
Who said that?
Oh, that is brutal.
Okay. Very volatile. Okay. I prided myself on doing a very volatile marriage that I never cheated on him, never thought about another man, never looked at another man. In my marriage, I really tried to be the biblical wife. I really tried to model my life the way the Bible said a wife needed to be. Even when Cordell and I were having hard times, and we'd have many hard times, I would pray for him. Even when I couldn't stand him, I would hold on to the promise I made to him and God at the altar that I would no longer date women. In my mind, we didn't have a marriage. Not in the book. In my mind, we didn't have a marriage. We had a covenant with God. So I felt like it was my duty, my purpose to be a good wife and use that to please God. It was completely tied to my spirituality. It was my way of praising God and thanking him for giving me the gift of a husband and a protector after so many years of disappointment. When it came to my marriage, barely anyone knew that we were actually going through. I knew there were certain parts of my marriage that I covered up. During my entire first season of Housewives, I put on a mask and tried to pretend we were perfect, and we just weren't. But the one thing that was true and real was my loyalty and my faith. Also, I don't know if you watched the Porsha show, but in the Porsha show, she was mad at Londi because Londi didn't protect her during her marriage with Cordell. But she tells us in the book that nobody knew what was going on. She hid it all, and she stopped them from coming over to the house. So how could somebody protect you from something that you weren't honest
Right.
about?
If you're not saying nothing or giving no type of sign, I'm gonna assume everything is fine.
Right. You got a 20,000 square foot house.
Right. You
Your
driving
cooch.
whatever kind of car you want,
Right.
wearing whatever you want to wear. You're on TV making even more money. So I'm gonna assume you're doing real good. Can you help me?
Right. And Londi was in college. Like, what was okay? It's just anything. She just throws out all these things, but she forgets that she talks about it in her book. So, okay.
Right.
So this is the Kenya moment. So let's get it queued up. Y'all remember, it's never her fault.
Never.
I came out of character at that reunion, and it regretfully taught me to never give my power to a bully again. Although I always regret what happened and how she triggered me to step all the way out of character, it also revealed to me the power of authenticity. I paid a price for that decision at the reunion. I was served. I was served with an arrest warrant, charged with misdemeanor battery, and even had to take a mugshot. The most fabulous mugshot you've ever seen. Thank you very much. So, y'all, this is all that we get from Porsha about that fight with Kenya. These 2 sentences, which really changed the trajectory of her career with Bravo. This is the fabulous mugshot she was talking about. Monty,
Yeah.
what are you scoring it?
Huh?
What are you scoring it?
I'll give it an 8. I'll give it an 8.5. It looks like she it you know, it's, you know, the makeup and the hair, you know. I mean, she does look nice. It looks like she thought she was going to film, and then they're like, no, we're actually here to arrest you, babe. I know you thought we were taping, but we're taking you into custody.
I'll give it a good 6. I feel like if you're gonna go that far to go and take your mugshot and you're gonna get full hair and makeup, you might as well do a full smile.
Right, exactly. Like, don't be shy.
She was
Give
doing
us
like a
full
quarter.
grin. Give us a full Joker grin.
Yeah,
Right.
she was doing the
Show
Kylie
me
Jenner.
all 32.
More important, the audience saw a very real breakdown. I lost my peach next season and received a pay cut, but it didn't stop me from being transparent in front of the cameras. I struggled in front of millions of people, but because I was allowed to see that I was a real woman capable of making impulsive decisions, the audience didn't turn on me. They fell in love with me. I made a choice right then. It didn't matter what Porsha I was at the time, fed up and frustrated or flourishing and fulfilled. I'd always keep it real about my pursuit to be my best self. So that was one chapter. It was 6 pages.
That was it.
Don't you think that the Kenya fight should have gotten more than 2 sentences?
Because that's kind of like her magnum opus of her stint on reality television. Like, that's her defining moment. Like, I would have dedicated a nice chunk of my story to that.
Oh, yeah, she does. She did have a Balmain outfit on. Oh, which brings me to my poll. Who wore it better?
Oh, Lord, what is it?
We got Porsha Williams. So y'all put in the chat who wore it better and be honest. Then we got Kim Kardashian. And last but not least, the one that's going to get my vote, Vicky Gunvalson.
Oh, yeah. Vicky for the win.
I'm giving this to Vicky.
Yeah, I'm giving it to... Yeah, even though Vicky look a little sticky right here, I'm gonna give it to oh my God. Is that even
okay? One more time. We got Porsha, Kim, Vicky,
the clear winner. Like, it's not even up for debate. Like, it's a clear knockout. Because the other two, it's the same hair, same makeup, you know, like, come on. This is Vicky. She decided to do something different. She went with the limp, flat hair. You know, she decided to leave her shaper at home. The breasts
no
are
baby hairs?
She's stepping outside of the box here. She's all natural.
No baby hairs. Okay. Okay, it's looking like it's a tie between.
Exactly, Vicky for the win. That's
okay. It looks like it's a tie between Kim and Porsha. I will say both ladies look great in it.
They do,
and I'm gonna give Vicky kudos for trying.
Yes, like I said, she went all natural. She just snatched that shit off the rack and threw it on her back.
Okay, so where are we at? After my divorce, I didn't need anything from men. Nothing. We can't even get 2 seconds in. Then why were you dating this married African for your Rolls Royce?
Oh,
this was right after the divorce.
Yes. Porsha been in her married African bag for a while now.
I mean, what are we supposed to do? We went from one married African Rolls Royce to another.
to another. She said, if you're not African and giving me a Rolls Royce, then what we talking about?
I don't understand. What does she mean? Her words, not mine. After my divorce, I didn't need anything from men. Nothing.
Are they?
I can just see Claudia right now. No, they're not.
Oh, Lord.
No, they're not.
That did not age well.
I didn't need their love. I didn't need their attention. I didn't need their time. I didn't need their gifts. I didn't need them to tell me who I was I didn't need them to tell me who I was to value who I was. I didn't need them at all. It was the first time in my entire life when I felt that I was truly enough all by myself. But according to her, that these gifts came from Jesus. That's what she said.
That's what she's.
Okay. Lord.
He's coming in a Honda.
I just wanted men to love me. Perhaps it had something to do with my father passing away at the exact stage I started to notice men and their affections that left me in such a longing for affection. It was almost like at the very moment I needed him to show me the ropes, teach me how to duck or swing or get back in the ring or to tap out, he left me. Through no fault of his own, he left me here to figure it out when I had no clue how to figure it out. So I played it by ear. I did what men told me to do. I sacrificed every little piece of me it meant building up. Every little piece of me, even if it meant building up pieces of them. I didn't realize then what I know now, which is that love in every form begins with yourself. You got to know your worth, your value, your dreams, your ambition, what drives you, and what motivates you in order to properly love anybody else. And I have that now. For years, I asked God, why would you tell me that Cordell was my husband only for it to blow up in my face? Why would you put me through that? It took me years to actually hear his answer. Because I'm his child, God wanted to give me every single thing I wanted, even if it was outside of his will. I desperately wanted Cordell to be my husband, so God wanted to provide. But it didn't mean that his intention for my life. So when it happens, when you step outside of God's will, he moves closer to you, making sure that even as you move in uncharted territory, you're still covered by his grace. It was truly the grace of God that kept me alive during that marriage, I've learned. After I grew into a woman who knew exactly what she wanted, I never encountered another abusive relationship. If I'm being honest, I still don't know what shift happened. Well, actually, you physically attacking that man is considered an abusive relationship. You attacked your baby daddy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Because if that was the other way around, that would be, he would be drugged through the mug and real canceled. So
he said she meant Lucifer.
Oh my God.
Okay. And not only that, I grew into my purpose. I had people I used to watch on television as a child, people I had looked up to, people I had admired, now stepping to me on the street, telling me that they were rooting for me. I'll never forget the time I was flying back to Atlanta from Los Angeles after doing a photo shoot with my crew from Dish Nation, Ricky Smiley, DeBrat, Gary with the T, and Head Crack. We were all in first class when I go to the bathroom. That's when I heard a distinct and familiar voice say, Porsha, Porsha. I turned my head to see Samuel L. Jackson. Inside, I was freaking out because, this was Samuel L. Jackson. But I tried to play it as cool as possible. He was talking to Head Crack about something I couldn't hear over the plane's hum, but I pretended to be in on whatever joke they were laughing at. Oh, hey, what's up, Samuel? I said, absolutely thrilled to speak with one of my idols. Yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing. I watch y'all, man. Y'all doing y'all thing. It was such a brief encounter, but it was also an amazing reminder to keep my head down and keep doing the work. Sam, I feel I can call him that now that we're friends. Reminded me that I'm doing the work and now I'm on the radar. People that I've admired forever, they see me, they see what I'm doing, they respect me. It's just another level of validation that I'm doing my job good. And let me be clear, my power and purpose had nothing to do with celebrity run-ins. It's not about having money or status or fame. It had nothing to do with my grandfather or being the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Instead, it had everything to do with knowing who I am and whose husband I could steal. Another amazing outcome of my divorce was the growth of my empire.
Empire.
I took the nothing that I was left with and turned it into something. I went from being insecure in my relationship to being an investor in multiple businesses. I only endorse brands that I believed in, and that's one of the reasons my companies are successful. Because when I'm speaking about them, I'm speaking about them from a place of truth. Go Naked Hair, my luxury hair extension company that I founded with my sister in 2013, truly came out of my divorce. I noticed that whenever I looked beautiful, I felt beautiful. Okay, that's a pearl of wisdom.
Right.
At the time, I would do anything to lift me from the very hurtful fog of letting go. So I started expressing myself through my hair, choosing different looks. Nostalgia also plays a huge part in choosing what companies I work with and get excited about. One of the reasons I started Pampered by Porsha was because so many men took me to hotels. I knew what good sheets felt like. Luxury sheets that are affordable.
I was gonna say she did not. She did not write that. Mr. Man. She did not write that.
Luxury sheets that are affordable and will transform any bed into an oasis was because my mom put those same sheets on my bed without me knowing, and I fell in love with them. I know it sounds crazy, but I've always loved buying sheets for my bed. My obsession came from the same place as most good things in my life, my mom, who also told her to beat up hoes.
Right.
Who would always be in the store buying sheets when I was a kid. Not to mention, I've always loved lying in my mama's bed. That was part of my childhood. It was my comfort place. She would always let me be in the room with her while she ate lemon pepper wings. Her sheets always felt like butter across my skin. If I'm ever in my mama's house, even today, and I want to take a nap in her bed, I know it will be the best sleep of my life. It's her smell, her perfume, her comforting jersey, and cotton sheets. They just remind me of my mom. I'm sorry, but it's a little bit nasty because we know that she was using Dennis's old toothbrush. Remember, she said that she shares toothbrushes with him. Her mama is a very grown woman who has a man. So I don't make a habit of lying in adults' bed who I know are sexually active. I wouldn't.
Right. Right, because Miss Diane didn't get that body done for no reason. She getting that new ass knocked down. And you just laying in that. Girl. And that's your mom. Oh. No, ma'am. Make me a pallet on the floor, mama. I brought my own sheets. Just show me where to lay it down.
I'm good on laying in sexually active adult beds.
Yes. I'm real good on that.
So my mom may not have had all the resources, whether that was due to bad credit, debt, or inexperienced business partners, but she taught me that if you have faith, it'll come to pass. She speaks life in everything that she does. She silences out many critics saying what she can't do. I saw this when she was opening her 24-hour daycare center. I remembered someone questioning her like, "What makes you think you can pull this off? No one has ever done this before in the state of Georgia." And I'll never forget her response. Why not me? So she goes on, she talks a little bit about her mom. I like Miss Diane, but I'm not gonna subject y'all to that. Okay. So she says that she's working for her daughter. I'm working for my daughter. I'm working for future generations. It's what my mother did for me. And so I have to pass that down. But I will get my cousin Londi fired at my will. Because she got Londi fired. Dennis told us on the show.
Oh, yeah, she did. She got Lonnie fired.
What
I guess that was for not protecting her. It was payback. Karma, right?
I was now, along with growing my businesses, I was now open to growing in my dating life again too. I was now exercising my power of discernment. I couldn't date just anybody because I now had a lot to lose. I finally created standards for myself, and if the men in my life couldn't live up to them, I was more than willing to text them goodbye. I was finally making rules in my relationship. I was the girl who said, "Listen, don't post me on social media. I don't want people to know we're talking until it's serious." If they didn't take my boundaries seriously, I'd stop dating them, period. After not having many standards at all, a truthful moment, finally finding them felt like freedom to me. Being able to say goodbye or don't call me again simply because they did not meet the expectations I had for love and partnership was freeing. So basically the Rolls Royce, if they're not giving her a Rolls Royce. Good luck.
Yeah.
It was also restrictive at times, if I'm being honest. Whereas before my feelings could lead me astray and sweep me to the shore with a tide, my new standards kept me anchored yet guarded. It didn't help that at the same time I was starting to make choices for Real Housewives that ended up deeply shaping my personal life. I often felt that to play my part on the show, I had to show off who I was dating. It's something I feel only happens with certain housewives. On other franchises, if the women get a divorce, I didn't see them dragging who they are dating onto the show. But for me, it felt like I needed to have a man in my life on the show. It not only led me to choosing men I wouldn't have necessarily dated, but also forced me to hide relationships with men that I cared for. There was one man I dated on and off for years, but because he didn't want to film, it essentially broke us up. I called him Mr. Big, a la Sex in the City. He was just a really great guy whom I had traveled with and spent holidays with. But because of what I did for a living and because of his own situations, I think that meant he was married.
Yep.
Right?
He was definitely involved in some way. If he wasn't married, he was involved. But
Okay.
we'll say married, given the track record, his situation. That's why he didn't want to film. He couldn't.
She said they spent holidays and traveled together, but she doesn't say anything about anything significant, which would lead you to believe that this was another situation of somebody else's man dating Porsha.
Another big papa.
So I began dating other people on the show, and no respectable man is going to watch his woman date someone else on TV. I told men, if you don't want to film, then I'm sorry. You need to sit over there and wait till I finish filming, and then I'll get back to you. If you can't fit in my life, then get the hell out of here. If you didn't want to date me when I had the time to date you, then I say goodbye. But again, she starts talking about God.
But God.
I couldn't just construct a life and then pluck a man and place him in a house that I had bought or make him sign a contract to have a baby. She said that, not me.
Oh,
but you did do a baby nump. I'm not getting it.
You did right. So it's like what?
I told God, all right, fine. Clearly, my strategy isn't working for my personal life, so I'll just chill. I'll wait until you send him. But God, at least let us have some chemistry, and he has to have money.
It's giving a little Elmo.
Okay, so here's the juicy part of this chapter. And when I first met Dennis McKinney, we had fire chemistry. It was actually after taping a reunion for Real Housewives when I bumped into McKinley. That's what my stylist, Jeremy Haynes, called him, using his last name when he first told me about his handsome bachelor who owned a couple of clubs in Atlanta. When Jeremy said, let's go to the club after filming the reunion for 14 hours straight, I said, F it, why not? I just finished arguing with these women for hours. Let's go get drunk. It didn't matter that I had on a black Adidas tracksuit because I refused to be uncomfortable for a second longer. At least I was in full hair and makeup. By the time that Jeremy, Lauren, my makeup artist, and my assistant turned friend Dom walked into Dream, we were looking for a good time. When we first walked into Dream, it kind of looked like a fairy tale. Everything looked really whimsical. There were clouds and oversized mushrooms on the wall. It looked like we had just stepped into a gentleman's club built by Willy Wonka. I was drinking away the fact that every other girl in there was dressed up looking cute while I was in a tracksuit when Jeremy told me that we were about to meet the owner. I wasn't paying too much attention though. I've met plenty of club owners doing bookings over the years, so I shook Dennis's hand and kept it moving. It hadn't clicked yet that this was the same McKinley Jeremy had just told me about. Now, here's my issue. If you were so close to your cousin Storm and this was her boss and Storm had worked at multiple of his clubs, how would you not know who this man was? Are we supposed to really
you would have
believe
knew
that
who that was?
you did not know who an eligible bachelor in Atlanta was? Now, if McKinley was broke, I would feel like Porsha did not know who he was. But
right.
Okay.
But he was rich, semi-eligible, and you didn't and supposedly you had this close relationship with your cousin, and you didn't know who this man was. So Storm didn't bring him up at all, ever.
Or Storm wasn't actually around.
Right. That.
Like you wanted us to believe.
That.
He hit my family. Okay, I can't. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's how she met Dennis. After a couple hours of dancing to bass-heavy music and dim lit lights, I was getting sleepy. Having been at the reunion all day, I was ready to go. But when I stepped outside, I had a boot on my car. What the hell? A boot? I wasn't parked illegally or anything crazy. It didn't make sense to me. Jeremy ran back in the club saying he'd get McClinley to come and get this boot off your car. Now, I don't know how a club owner is supposed to, like, why would that be your first go-to? Wouldn't you look to see if there's any signs? How could a club owner get a boot off your car that's put in the city of Atlanta?
Right.
So that's why I'm feeling like this part specifically is more like fan fiction, right? It's not reading.
Yeah.
It's not reading like
I heard though down in those parts it is kind of easy to get a boot put on
I
your
mean,
car.
and your stuff will get stolen. Trust me, I have been there. They will break into your car and do everything else, or put your car on stilts. Like you'll come out and your car will be missing its tires.
Oh my God. I wouldn't know what to do.
Go get McKinley. Oh, thank you, Amused. They're putting your Insta in the chat.
Oh, thanks.
So if you start following him, tell him I sent you. I'll be getting a
kickback.
Right.
Thank you.
Later on, I found out that Dennis had put the boot on my car, so I'd have an excuse to talk to him later that night. He literally called the city so he could be the Superman and get the boot taken off. Does this sound right to anybody? Am I crazy, Monty? Like, does this sound normal? Who, like, you have a speed dial to the city and you just happen to know which car is Porsche's to have it booted? Like, what is this giving?
It's probably not at all how they met. It was probably like a one night stand type of situation. They probably met on a little app, you know, whatever Jack
Midnight
is
booty
for
call?
straight people. I don't know what they use, but
Midnight booty call?
Yeah, whatever Grinder or Jack is for straight people, they met on there. And you know, it was a quick little wham bam, and then they probably like, "Oh, ain't you Porsha from that one show?" And she probably say, "Ain't you the hot dog man?" And then they probably just continue to see each other from there, and then boom, a baby.
Well, I mean, she does admit to having a one night stand with him. We're getting to that now.
Gotcha.
Sure enough, that night Dennis came out there saying, "Oh, I'll take care of it for you. I got you. I got you." It was kind of genius. It told me that Dennis was willing to get creative in order to get to know me a little bit better. By tricking you, by lying to you, so you starting the relationship off with a lie. It sounds creepy to me. If some broke man went and called the city and had a boot put on, would you think it was cute? Probably not. Are you okay, Monty? Are you okay? Monty, are you? I think Monty's sound is off. Are you okay? No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay, so I'll keep going. It was kind of genius. It showed me that Dennis was willing to be creative in order to get to know me a little better. From that night, when he also purposely slipped his number into my friend's phone so I could call him later. It took about 3 months of playing phone tag and a couple of late night calls until we actually went out. Why would he need to slip the number in her friend's phone when we know that her beautician knew him, her hairdresser knew him? None of this is okay. From that night, when he was also when Dennis walked into McCormick and Smith's, a lovely seafood restaurant in Atlanta, I barely even recognized him because when we met at his nightclub, which he eventually shut down to open several other businesses, I was sleepy, tipsy, and ready to go home after seeing a boot on my car. Monty, just do this when you're ready.
Sorry, I got a phone call and it just cut me off, so I apologize.
It does that to me too. So when our eyes finally met in the restaurant, I was taken aback in a good way. He was handsome. He had these really warm eyes and a great smile. Just looking at him made me light up. At the first dinner, we spoke about everything. We spoke about being entrepreneurs and how we both started off running businesses in the hair industry, which I didn't realize we had in common. That was when Dennis dropped a little bomb on me. that he had initially met me on the set of Trillville when he was dating the Flavor of Love girl. Because that's really when they met.
So what Flavor of Love girl was he dating?
The one who kept saying, I'm a model. I'm a model. I'm a model. I don't have the picture of her anymore. I think her name was Crazy. She just kept saying, I'm a model. And her hair was black and the tips of it were red.
What season was she on? The third one?
No, I think the first.
The first one.
And then she came back for the Monique show.
Oh, okay. I have to see her to remember her.
But yeah, our first meeting of each other wasn't at the club. It wasn't. No, we met at Bronner Brothers. Yeah, it must have been like 4 years ago, he said. I guess you thought I was trying to holler at you, so you kind of brushed me off. Oh, yeah, then that was me. That sounds like me. Then she kind of explains what Dennis did. Meanwhile, Dennis was there with Queen Virgin Remy, a hair company he later sold. Let me put my allegedly banner because we're about to get into some things. Okay, that hair company was not Dennis's to sell. Dennis had started dating another woman who used to date like a football player. And that woman used the money that she got from the football player to start the business. Dennis put the business in his name. So once they had broken up, he sold the business for a lot of money and kept her out of the deal. And she had to go back and sue him.
Oh. Oh, wow. Come on, research.
I tell you, we do research around here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I don't believe that he didn't know who she was and she didn't know who he was and then all this upstanding businessman. Okay.
Yeah, right.
It's funny because the work boundaries I began on the sets of those music videos that I can't remember the name of back in my early 20s are the same work boundaries I had decades later. I hated mixing business and pleasure. And in that moment, though, I was just glad my boundaries were still made space to meet again. At dinner, Dennis and I couldn't stop talking because all we realized we were like so much. We connected over being close with our moms and working with our moms. I didn't think about any of the things that you're not supposed to ask on first date. I went straight for the tough questions. If I hit your mom, will she hit me back?
Oh my God.
Do you have any kids? No, but I want kids one day with the right person. Do you have any kids? He shot back with a smile. No, but I do want kids. Since we're the same age, I was a little shocked that he didn't have kids yet, but for some reason it comforted me. I guess it puts us on an even playing field, except for when it came to marriage. I told him I was divorced and that I starred on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Do you watch? No, I don't really watch that show, but of course I'm familiar. From our very first in-depth conversation, Dennis felt so sincere and genuine, even though he had just lied and had your car booted, right? Like sincere, genuine. Okay.
Sincere.
Nothing felt hidden when I spoke to Dennis, and it meant a lot to me that he could say what he wanted without pretense. Dennis was also very sure of what he wanted, and he wanted a lot out of life, to be successful, to have a family, and to have love. Although we were still getting to know each other, I wanted that for him too. You're noticing that Porsha is never asking, are you dating anybody?
Because that doesn't matter to her. She doesn't. That's not a factor.
We've not heard her ask, are you dating somebody? Are you married?
That's the first question. Are you single?
Let's not forget when she was messing with the artist, last name Kelly. She was sleeping with him when the wife's portrait was right outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
So I would think that if you're talking about all this growth and learning to love yourself and you don't need anything from men, that would be a valuable question to ask. Are you currently seeing anybody? And if so, how serious? Not on her radar. Not on her radar at all. Okay. After Dennis, and this goes back to what you were saying about the one night stand. After dinner, Dennis invited me back to his industrial style condo. I was blown away because the vibe he had created inside his home was very cool. It taught me so much about the man I had just had a fabulous dinner with. Dennis had beautiful artwork on every inch of the wall. Here I thought he was this regular dude, but he was actually very cultured. This was the apartment where she said she opened her legs because he had a nice apartment and he said she was pretty. Remember, the legs just kept going wider.
They just kept spreading and spreading, peeling back.
We watched Family Feud all night, laughing, drinking, and trying to guess which family would go home with the prize money. Next thing I noticed, Dennis was typing furiously on his phone. Porsha, I've got to go to the club real quick to handle something. I felt my heart sink because I didn't want our day to end. But if anybody understood the sacrifices you made for your businesses, it was me. So I tried not to let the disappointment show on my face. Oh, okay, I said a little too casually. No, you don't have to leave. Stay right here and I'll be right back. Right back, he said, showing me that he was on the same wavelength. By the time Dennis had closed the door, I was hyped. What is it about men leaving you in their place that makes you feel like you're the one? Because that's exactly how I felt. After the good food, the good drinks, and the good conversation, I was so gassed up by the time he left me inside his condo. I felt so special. And it had been a long time since I felt this way. By the time he got back, I had already pictured myself hanging in those frames on the wall, becoming a true part of this man's life and his house, and trapping him by having a baby.
These ad libs.
But yeah, so what it alludes to is she did spend the night that first night. So that you were right. Dennis reminded me of my father in so many unspoken ways, which would be a red flag for anybody else.
Yes, because you're look, but she said the father was just this man that you would stop and stare and look, whenever he walked in the room. And and Dennis and Dennis.
That's a good picture of them, actually.
That is a good picture of
them.
That's
a good picture.
They look well.
Mm-hmm. Dennis reminded me of my father in so many unspoken ways, and the ways I could verbalize. Dennis was a businessman. My father was a businessman. I felt secure and safe around Dennis, and I felt secure and safe around my father when he was leaving you in the hot car.
Right.
I also love that he had no dominant nature about him because I'm a boss in my day-to-day life. So to have someone else make decisions felt like a breath of fresh air. Oh, I'm sorry. He had a dominant nature. I definitely looked to my partner to have that audacity to know what's best for his life and at times for mine. After handling whatever he needed to handle at Dream, Dennis was now on his way back Dennis was now back on his couch beside me. By this time in the evening, Dennis had leaned over and placed his head in my lap. No, this is not this kind of channel.
Right.
I'll read that again. After handling whatever he needed to handle at Dream, Dennis was now back on his couch beside me. By this time in the evening, Dennis had leaned over and placed his head in my lap. And I said, one of you bitches is eating me tonight. With his eyes piercing through this thick rimmed glasses, Dennis said, I love you. It didn't say a word, but my face must have registered my shock. So Dennis said, I do. I'll show you. I love you. Now, I want you guys to remember, this is exactly what that artist, Kelly, did to her. On the first day that he met her, he kept saying, I love you. So shouldn't this be a red flag that this man is now also doing the same thing that that man did to you? I think for anybody else, it would be a red flag. Dennis leaned over and placed his head in my lap. With his eyes piercing through his thick rimmed glasses, Dennis said, I love you. So Dennis
not sure why everybody wants to call me now.
You're popping. You're booked and busy. So Dennis, on this first night, after putting his head in her lap, he's telling her he loves her. I didn't say a word, but my face must have registered my shock. So Dennis said, I do. I'll show you. I love you. So now I'm thinking, okay, dude, you're either drunk or crazy. No, I'm not messing around, he said, reading my mind. Okay, Dennis, I'll remind you in the morning that you said this. And that's the admission that she spent the night.
Yep. That's it right there.
I don't know what this means. He, who, he, who.
That
I don't know what that means.
it's like, I guess it's like a little girlish giggle.
Okay. Okay, it was March 22nd, my daughter Pilar Jenna's birthday, and I was clutching my stomach, breathing heavily through my teeth. My duffel bag for my stay at North Fulton Hospital was in the trunk, along with another bag full of Porsha's first miniature outfits. So she jumps. She jumps from the first date to now she's having Pilar.
Wow.
So it's right at 12 months because she got pregnant like that. Okay. Oh, that's weird, guys. So she said the he who thing, right? And then 3 paragraphs later, she says he who, hurry, I pushed out through the fits of giggles.
So it was the giggles.
No, she was trying to say she was giving birth. It's that the pushing. But the fact that she said there's three paragraphs and now she's jumped to it's weird.
Oh, so she was like giving birth, like whoo. That,
yeah, but I mean, it's like foreshadowing because we weren't there yet.
We weren't anywhere near that. We weren't anywhere near that, but okay. I mean,
right. It just is okay. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with the birth. She had a very beautiful daughter. She had a painful birth because she had fibroids. We talked about that, but she was willing to make fun of Cynthia's fibroids.
Yeah.
And laughed at them saying that Cynthia had snap, crackle, pop, and Porsha had and Phaedra had Aquafina. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Aquafina is like the really cheap water that nobody buys. So if you're having like a hurricane or a tornado and everybody's buying the water, Aquafina is usually the water you'll still find on the shelves. So I can believe that about Phaedra Creonta Nida.
Yeah.
That she would be the Aquafina. In the world of Nestle and Evian and Smart Water, Phaedra is Aquafina.
Will be Aquafina.
That
the one her... still on the shelf. Fully stocked.
Okay. So she's talking a little bit about she's upstairs getting her hair and makeup done for the birth the next day. Her family is having a party downstairs filming for the cameras. So, okay. Then she says, here I was coming off bed rest and telling Bravo and Truly Original, the same production company that films Real Housewives, that I just couldn't do this. It was too much. I was irritated. I just wanted to lie down and be ugly all day while eating the house down. I didn't want to be all glammed up in hair and makeup, sitting in front of confessional, sharing about this very high-risk pregnancy and telling too much about my relationship. But Truly promised to make it easy. They promised to stay out of the way and capture all the big moments in PJ's life, like her shower and her birth. But of course, it ended up being way more than that. My relationship with Dennis, where we were going to live, where we were getting married, was I going to be a baby mama, where our mother's going to get along, excuse me. But before I realized all of that, once I started feeling better, I agreed to let them create a special where PJ could look back one day and just see how much she was loved before she even stepped on earth. It's a lot of fluff. Her home delivery, her myomectomy, not concerned about these things. The pressure we put on ourselves as women is too damn much. But these were real questions that swirled over my head when I first heard the news. It felt like my womanhood was straight taken from me. To be told you have to have a C-section when you never even pictured yourself having a C-section, it was hard to wrap my mind around the idea of having surgery instead of loving pushes to welcome PJ. It was hard to believe that this was my reality when my sister had a vaginal birth and my mother had a vaginal birth and my grandmother had a vaginal birth. In fact, I didn't even know anyone in my family who'd had a C-section. Now, we can hear about all this, but not the fight with Kenya.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're skipping that. She was in her feelings about not having a natural birth. Since the cameras were capturing my every move, I made sure to have Coco and Chanel, her titties. That's what I call my girl, sitting up and looking nice in my green bodycon dress paired with a flowery duster. Listen, I might have been 9 months pregnant, but my booty was still looking good from the back. From that angle, you couldn't even tell I was pregnant. I didn't get anxious about giving birth until right before my surgery when I had to wash my entire body down with red dye to completely sanitize myself, which is weird. So, how are you getting your hair and makeup done for your surgery, but don't you have to remove all that when you go into surgery?
Yeah, you can't have none of that on. I mean, you can have a hair, but well, my friend, she had her makeup done when she gave birth to her son.
Really? I
Mm-hmm.
thought that they said it's a surgery, so in surgery you need to take everything off. But okay.
Well, she had on lashes and she had on like some concealer and a little nude lip.
And her baby hairs.
Right.
Um, Everybody, my mom, Dennis's mom, my sister, my stepmom, my assistant was in the hospital room because I had a suite. I knew I couldn't walk back into a room freaking out because it would freak everybody else out. Okay, Porsha. Okay, girl, get it together. Okay, you got this. I said to myself, trying very hard to convince myself to calm down before I walked back into the room and lay down on the hospital bed, which was actually more comfortable than you'd imagine. But I couldn't speak. I didn't say another word because I was paralyzed with fear. And then we talk about the surgery. I mean, like, this is like a whole chapter on giving birth, and I didn't really understand why this would, you get 6 pages for the last chapter, and now we're talking about giving birth.
Right. You skipped
Mm.
over your reality television magnum opus, but but we get a full-blown chapter about births.
Oh, Don P says you can have makeup but no jewelry.
Ah, okay.
See, my subscribers stay down. They know. They do the research.
Right. Because I was remembering I was there with my friend and she did have on makeup.
Um. Okay, so your boy said coming from the head doctor. I guess you'd know. Um. Okay, so we get Pilar. The nurses brought her to her. They're all crying. Dennis gave her a bath. And I was right. I thank God. Ever since I looked into Pilar's eyes, I have not thought about self-harm. So that's good.
That's
We had
good.
talked about that. More about motherhood. Blah blah blah. I'm not reading that. Pilar didn't sleep through the night. Okay, I'm okay with that. Okay, by the time I gave birth to PJ, I deserved her because I had worked on me enough. I had forgiven myself enough from taking people's husbands. I had learned who I was enough. I had stopped beating myself down enough to give birth, and more importantly, to give life to another woman. I was more of a complete person. Even when I gave birth to her and I suffered from postpartum depression, triggered because I was having trouble breastfeeding, I knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel because she was and still is that light. Postpartum depression was unlike any other depression I've ever had in my life because it didn't act the same and it didn't feel the same. I didn't understand why I was low. I didn't understand why I was sad. I didn't understand why I didn't want to get out of bed or why I didn't want to move. Those were just some very low moments, and eventually I chalked it up to my hormones being completely unbalanced after giving birth. It didn't help that around 3 months after we welcomed PJ into the world, my relationship with Dennis had started to crumble. So it was just really, really bad. I was so irritated and disappointed with Dennis that I didn't even want to look at him on Instagram, so I unfollowed him. Of course, the blogs picked up that I had clicked that button. I didn't even know how they keep track of stuff like that. So now my breakup was being turned into internet fodder. Still, Dennis came into my life for a reason. I knew that he would be the type of father I wanted PJ to have, rich.
Right.
I knew that he would be loving and very, very protective over her. If I was destined to have Pilar as my daughter, it wouldn't have happened without Dennis. He was meant to be her dad. But again, you got with him night one. You didn't really know anything about him. We're supposed to believe that you knew that he might have possibly assaulted your cousin. Like, none of it is adding up. How do you knew that this man was going to be a good baby daddy when you told him you opened his
Right.
leg? You opened your legs because he had a nice apartment and he said you were pretty.
That's all it took.
Okay. I wanted her to have a dad that was her friend, that she could kick it with and not just dictate to. I wanted her to have a father who would respect over her feelings and her heart. I wanted somebody who was going to be truthful with her, especially when it came to men. like her father was when it came to women. She knew that her father had mistresses. He was real with her, so I guess she was looking for her father in Dennis to be the same kind of.
Damn. And it sounds funny, but like that's literally like that happens. Like they say, like a lot of women look for their father in men, and a lot of men look for their mother in women.
So Dennis was looking for Mama Gina.
Dennis was looking for Mama Gina. Right.
Okay. Okay. So now that we simply have a friendship, I've come to terms with the fact that he's here to be her dad, but not necessarily my husband. Dennis was not proving himself to be the best partner for me, but he did give me the most amazing gift ever in this world, so he'll always be my family. PJ is our life. She's my life. I see it better when I look at her. There's nothing I can't accomplish because I look at her and understand she's my driving force. Thankfully, my mother was living with me at the time, helping me keep my head above water. She helped with the household chores and with Pilar, so my baby was always taken care of. And according to Dennis, the baby's only ever with the mama and never with Porsha. That's why they were fighting on that last episode.
Ooh.
Thanks to her holding some of the load, according to Dennis, all the load, I was able to strengthen my mind and myself for my baby. She reminded me to reach for faith and trust in God to make me the strongest mother for my daughter. I fought my way through it. I literally clawed, scratched, dragged my way through it because I had to. Thank God for the divine mothering and generational love that sustains. So that's it. What do you think? Where you at with it?
I'm still baffled by that 6-page chapter. Like how you left that much out, how you just glazed over that, didn't take no real accountability or responsibility for how you have conducted yourself and promoted this physical violence on, national television, but yet, you're so proud that you gave birth to another woman. And yes, this was the only time when somebody got the best of her. And that was only because Cynthia acted fast and it was somebody there to snatch Porsha up. Because Porsha said in that book, Not All Diamonds and Rose, that if she said she knew that, she said something to the effect that she knew that if she didn't get Porsha off of her at the moment that she did, and that if it wasn't people there to restrain Porsha, that she would have been toast. I said, not toast, Cynthia.
Cynthia Stonefoot Bailey.
So she said she knew Porsha would have ragdolled her, just threw her off the boat.
So that's why I was like, we got to talk about the fights. So we will talk about all of her fights. We're gonna go through these in depth. And I dropped the link. If any callers or people want to come up, you're more than welcome to do so. What's your takeaway, real quick, Miss Bernice?
Yes,
no. Hey, Mel, how you doing? And hey, Monty.
Hey.
I'm good.
This is funnier than the Twilight Zone episode. Okay. She didn't know who Dennis was when her cousin works for him. Dad. Really?
The cousin that she's supposed to be so close to.
Right. So, and I'm sure that you done went out partying, or if it was ladies' night or whatsoever at the club whatsoever, your cousin probably called you, girl, come on down here. It's popping. So you portraying that you trying to give up that you wasn't a thought after him, as in that hole over there. Because y'all had sex the first night or the first week y'all was together, and that's how PJ was, made. So you trying to sugarcoat and glaze over like it's Cinderella. Oh, I never met this man before in my life. He's gonna be the man of my dreams. Come on, girl, please. Another contradiction that this whole book has been going through from page 1.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, Miss Bernice.
No, if you're going to be honest and honest, especially that fight. I'm sorry. I would have got up and I would have beat my brother's ass. You doing a commentary on me getting my butt beat?
Yeah.
Really? Really,
I mean,
bruh.
Man, we don't know how he treated her.
That shows the dynamics of the family is not right. I'm sorry. If it's one for all and all for one, I'm not going to jump in if it's just a one-on-one fight. But if I see somebody getting the best of my sibling, I'm like, oh hell no, it's over. And if you got a problem with me, we can duke it up. But I'm not finna sit there and watch my sibling get beat up, because I know when I go home and explain this to my mama and my daddy, I'm getting a whooping like you just stood there.
Well, her mom didn't care about the brother not defending her. She cared that she had not, come into her own kung fu ways.
That's what I'm talking about. Mama, you're not gonna say nothing to him. He just stood there. The girl beat my butt. Mama, you know I'm not a fighter. So my brother's supposed to protect me, as in the male protect the female.
Mm-hmm.
You just told her that ain't no man gonna protect you. You got to protect yourself, and you've been doing a lousy job of doing that. So because you keep making the same mistake over and over again, and stop bringing the Lord in your mess.
Miss Bernice, so what do you think was the most impactful fight? Monty seems to have voted for this one, where she got kicked in the baby door. Shout out to Charlene.
Yeah, because she thought Cynthia was gonna be a pushover. Cynthia said, "I'm quiet, but nah, I'm like Cynthia. Longer you can say whatever you want to say, but once you come into my 3 feet radius and you're gonna put your hands on me, I'm sorry. I see red and I'm gonna beat your butt. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to say, long as you don't put your hands on me. I'm calm, cool, collected, Miss Bernice. I give you the shirt off my back. I feed you everything. But once you go to the point where you have the audacity to say that I'm finna hit you, oh, I'm coming back. I'm coming back like a hurricane.
So, of the ones I just showed you, Miss Bernice, who do you think is the most impactful Porsha fight?
I say Cynthia too.
Okay, we got 2 votes for Cynthia. What are y'all saying in the chat? Who y'all? Because Porsha didn't want to glaze over.
But Porsha kicked her first. Porsha put her foot up on her first. Roll the tape back, bro.
Okay, I'm producing my own show, guys.
See?
She got that leg up. She was about to go to work on Cynthia.
Yes. Oh, heck no. You're not finna, not today. And Cynthia said, not today.
Cynthia said, this is one of my good wigs. Because she don't got a lot of them. She said, this is one of my good ones.
Because when she pulled Kenya's hair, that was Kenya's hair. Because when she pulled it, she pulled it and Kenya like, ah! And she's like, damn, ain't nothing coming out of my hand. This chick really, that is her hair. Like, damn.
Yeah, because that was a yank. If that wasn't her hair, that would have came out.
Right. Now, if Monique would have yanked Miss Candace like that, that whole thing would have came off.
Right. Right. Oh.
So somebody said Jamie. Let's not forget she beat up Jamie in Under the Cover at Night.
Yeah, but we didn't see that. We didn't see that.
Kung Fu Porsha.
Is that really how that girl looked after Porsha was done? Is that a Photoshop?
That's a Photoshop. That's a Photoshop.
Like, you would not pose for that. Like, get that camera out my damn face.
No. And you got all this built up anger at the wrong people when you're supposed to be angry at yourself, because you need some serious counseling. You need to smack your mom upside the head for teaching you how to be a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And accepting that you are less than.
So Deb is saying that he's giving it to the Jamie fight. I don't know. I just feel like it should have been in the book because realistically, we do know that Porsha gets a lot of her money from the show. So anything that could have potentially fired you from your lifeline, because after Cordell left her, she didn't have any money, she didn't have her daycare, unless she was going to go find, greener pastures. She needed this job. Having 4 physical altercations on your job, I think, is worthy of being talked about in your biography.
Yeah, but the last chapter you read was 6 pages. Okay,
I'm gonna give it to the dentist fight. I'm giving it to the dentist fight because
that was a lot.
It was a lot, and there were so many people involved, and there was no way that she couldn't say that she started this fight.
How did she start?
How did she start the dentist fight?
Yeah.
Well, Dennis was on the way out. She got up. She never had to get up. If you put somebody out, you don't have to get up and stand by the stairs and argue with them. And then she also threw the first lick.
Exactly. So she started the fight.
She started it?
Yeah. Dennis didn't hit her.
She ends up on the ground kicking and screaming.
Because she was possessed by the demon that she is. I'm sorry. Auntie came over there, prayed, and like, ooh. And it went away. You get exactly. Because Auntie is a true God-fearing woman. And Porsha is a perpetrating God-fearing woman.
So I don't know. I go back and forth with Porsha. Oh wait, hold on. I need to remove that. Sorry. I go back and forth with Porsha because even in that chapter, accountability seems like the furthest thing from her mind all the time. Like she even talked about Kenya triggering her, and it wasn't that she was mad that she had the fight. She was mad that Kenya had triggered her, and I'm like, really? Is that like
right? Because and her enablers even on a line like that time where we was talking about Porsha and she was insinuating that Cordell was abusing her. And one of her super fans got on here talking about, well, that's her truth. No, if it's real, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But if it's not real, you're making fun of domestic violence, and that's not nothing to laugh about.
They said who was at fault?
Because Porsha kept insinuating that Cordell had abused her physically. Mm-hmm. And one of her it was LRGA, and she got on there and she was a Porsha super fan. I understand they out there, and she kept saying, well, that's Porsha's truth, but it's not if you give me half the story. And you're saying, well, I can't talk about it anymore because of legal reasons. You shouldn't have gave me half the story.
That's true. I've never seen anybody in a fight who always ends up on the ground kicking and screaming.
Yeah, like a little child having a temper tantrum. You know, when you go grocery shopping with your mama and you see it in an aisle way, I want Captain Crunch, mommy. No, baby, you ain't getting Captain. That's too much sugar. And you sit down there, you have a temper tantrum. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. So Toon Fan, thank you so much for the super chat. Toon Fan 84 says my pick is the Mexico fight. That was her worst. I don't really feel like we should have this many opportunities to talk about how many times one person has fought.
Really?
What's up, Callie?
Hey.
Hey, Callie. Hey.
Okay,
I
like
no, this is my natural hair when I don't have braids. So I was supposed to braid my hair this weekend, but the weather was so beautiful, I ended up going out with friends and stuff. It didn't happen. So
it looks good.
Yes, it does.
Thanks.
So yeah, which fight are you giving it to?
I would say that Mexico, because it was a chain reaction, because I 100% believe that because of the way Porsha reacted, the family thought that Dennis had like assaulted Porsha or something.
Yes.
So they hopped up because she started that. She acted such a fool. They thought he had did something to her.
Yeah, I don't see him trying to get at her in this picture. It's clearly she's trying to get at him with multiple people between them.
Right.
So I just don't like how she always acts the fool, and then at the end of it, she's kicking and screaming like this.
Well, I mean, I don't know what exactly happened to make her start swinging at him. I think that because she knows how she thinks, I think that she assumed that he was trying to do something to her that he was not trying to do. And I think that because she knows how she thinks. Thanks, guys.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of
yeah,
a lot of love.
But
Dennis
was looking out for his mother. Dennis is looking out for his mother.
Well, we couldn't see his mom, so I think his mom was no longer in the room.
Right.
I just think that Porsha is one of these people where she's no good, so she thinks everybody else is no good, and she's no good because she knows what's going on in the back of her mind.
Yeah, she know what she would do, so she could take that on everybody else.
So that Dennis was like trying to push her or something, and I'm sure, I don't believe he was, and she went off, and the family thought he had did something to her, so they hopped up and went off.
Right.
I think it was totally about that girl being there. I think it was about the date. It was him bringing a date.
And she was beautiful. I saw his Instagram pictures because him and mama and girlfriend, they left because production was looking for them the next
city. And had a trip.
Had a nice trip without Porsha and her attitude.
But I mean, if you're there with Simon, why wouldn't you think that Dennis would bring someone? It's almost like you think that you're clowning Dennis with Simon when really you're the one that looks stupid. And all of us, Dennis, are looking at you like, what the hell are you doing?
You trying to cock block your ex, but you got a new man on your side.
No,
that's totally good.
She thinks that she's clowning Dennis by being with Simon, but to me, that's not working because first of all, Simon is so much older than Dennis. It kind of looks like, what are you doing with this old man? The man was still married when you started messing with him. It's just a mess. So I don't understand how you think that this is clowning Dennis, but in her mind, she thinks that. Because remember when she sat down at the table, it was like, oh, Dennis, Simon brought this vest for me. And it's like, we're 40 years old. I don't care nothing about no man.
Right.
You at 40 years old?
See,
like that's not a thing anymore.
Right. We're not in high school.
Exactly.
No, we're not in high school, boo.
And then you stay in the car. I don't even care about that car unless you brought it for yourself and you're celebrating an accomplishment. I don't care nothing about a man brought for you at 40 plus years old. And Wendy Williams used to say this on her show all the time about Marlo. She said the same thing about Marlo. She's like, look, when you are over 40, a man buying you stuff and you showing it off like it's an accomplishment, that's corny. You should have your own accomplishments.
Exactly.
It's not about, I mean, I'm not saying a man can't buy you something, but you're not up here flaunting it off like it's something that you got for yourself. Like, oh my God, I just signed this big deal and I was able to buy this car. Like, Porsha, it's like she's
you sound a little frustrated.
She's living in a rap song. It's like she's listening to way too much female rap. And the female rappers are making their own money. They're not even living that lifestyle that they're rapping about. You know what I
mean? Monty's got to go. Thank you so much for being here, Monty. I know that they put your link and stuff in the chat. Again, guys.
I subscribe to you, Monty.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The people love you. So we definitely will work together. Hopefully soon. But thank you so much for being here.
He keeps on getting me to, do my own YouTube video because I got the channel up and everything, and I swear I'm gonna do it. I swear. And when I do it, you're more than welcome. Everybody here,
Mm-hmm.
you're more than welcome to stop by and see me. Enjoying the chat. I just gotta get off my behind and do it.
Okay.
But yeah, still subscribe to his channel and do the notifications, so that way when he does finally make it to YouTube to do those videos, you'll know that he's on.
Yes.
All
And
right,
I
well,
will
thanks.
be there soon.
Okay, Monty.
Okay, you all have a good night.
My
You
subscribers
too.
don't play; they'll be checking.
You too.
All right.
All right, bye. Simon's future 6 foot.
Simon's
Whoa.
future sixth wife. His sixth wife.
Sixth wife.
Oh.
His sixth wife. Yeah.
Because the fifth one ain't gonna last too long by the looks of how she's acting right now.
No, she's not.
But
What's-
honestly, this was like reading this pamphlet that we did today. It actually made me think of a prior episode you did, Mims, where you which Porsha said she went to alternative school, but she didn't fully explain why she was sent to alternative school. So I'm alleging, this is coming from me, not from Mims, that she might have some mental issues that she has not fully checked in yet, and that's why she kind of is just unhinged, and reality TV just exacerbates that and makes it much worse because they live for that stuff. So it's like someone who doesn't have control over their emotions and probably their mental faculties, like that's just a perfect recipe for like reality TV gold. So I feel like, yeah.
Oh, Portia's definitely an IEP. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's off. I mean, the baby voice, all of that stuff to me, I hate to go there. It's signs that someone's been abused in childhood. Like all of that little baby voice and all of those things are like signs.
You mean SA?
To sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually told this by a therapist. Like when you see like a grown ass person talking like this, that's a red flag.
Like Paris Hilton?
Paris Hilton is doing that on purpose as a character. She's talked about it. She's did interviews about it. Yeah, she even talked about it on her reality show. Her and her mom both do it. It's just like a joke thing that she does. And people thought it was real, so she kept doing it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Caller Simon's future sixth wife. The people are asking, were you on the Mistress show?
Maybe not. Who's to say?
Yeah,
I might have been one of the mistresses. Since we're talking about a mistress right now, I felt it was apropos that I join in and give my 2 cents.
Oh, and I found the picture of the guy who gave her the
Rolls
Royce.
That's the guy that I saw too. They said it was that guy there.
There's not enough money, enough Rolls Royce, enough gold in the world that would just make me want to lay it low and spread it wide for that man.
He may have a wonderful personality. You never know.
Miss Bernice.
It's Sunday. It's
tells you what type of person
it's Sunday. I'm trying to be Christ-like. I'm Christ-like. Okay.
You know what I
But
mean?
Jesus always called it like he saw it. So tell the truth, Miss Bernice. Tell the truth.
Hell to the no. No.
Oh my. He looks like one of those characters from Star Wars. Like he was like on the Sith, like one of the Sith.
Well, it's the part in the book where Porsha was like homeless during the filming of her second season, and they were living in a hotel.
When what?
Like during the filming of her second season on the show, her and her family were living in a hotel, and they pretended that they were still living at the mom's house and kept giving production like excuses why they couldn't film at the mom's house because they had got evicted from the house.
Ooh, I never heard
and
that.
The mom, the grandma, the step grandfather, like almost the whole family, they were living in a hotel.
Golly.
That's
Are
in
you
the
for
book.
real?
Somebody read that on one of these. I was on another book reading, and someone read that. I don't have time to read this book, but that was somewhere in that book.
That's
Are you talking about like season 6 where Candy like went over her to help her unpack her stuff? Was that not her house or her mama's house?
When she was supposed to be living with her mom.
Okay.
So they filmed a few scenes there, and they got evicted from that house. And they had to like pretend to production that they were still living there. until she actually got
Actually,
the check from Bravo, and that's when she got the house that she has now.
that makes sense because after I'm starting to think about that season, after Candy was at her house and like was comforting her, you didn't really see her at that house anymore
Yeah.
that entire season. She was always in the group scenes or going to someone or to
Right.
meet someone. She was never filming at home for the most part.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about the season where she was with Dookie?
No, so this is season 6. So after Cordell had
this was her
divorced her.
second season. So I don't know if it was. I don't know if that was her second season or not. I don't really remember. But the
I think Dookie
he
was
only
the
for
second
like 2
season, right?
episodes, right?
No, he was season 8. He was season 8, I think.
Yeah, and I
or
think he was
9.
only there for like 2 episodes. I don't think they really had a relationship. They just went out a few times.
Right.
And she was in love.
Yeah, anything for a storyline.
And even Candy, she had to roll her eyes. She's thinking like, girl, you already in love with this man? Okay. She did do Candy wrong. She did Candy really wrong. I felt so bad about that.
I think a lot of these women, unfortunately, are very jealous of Candy, and they try to play it off because they don't want to admit it, and they act like they're her friend, and they dog her out because at the end of the day, most of these women do not have money on their own.
Yeah, but Candy worked for everything she got. They don't want to put in the work, but they want the glory. I don't get that.
Miss Bernice, they do want to put in the work, just in a different way than Candy. That's all.
No, they have this gold digger fantasy. And I think that what we're seeing, because these shows have been on for so long, we're seeing the long-term reality of gold digging. You know what I mean? Like if Erica's main story would have cut off when she married Tom, we would have been like, oh, she married an older rich lawyer and it's so great. But because the story kept going a little bit too long, a little bit too much information, now we're starting to see the reality of this gold digging stuff. And it does not work the way that people think it works. It usually only works from people who are already from money and they're marrying within their same circle. So,
and Porsha is not from money.
Well,
I understand what Porsha is doing because Porsha should be focused on building her own brand, not running behind men to get money at 40-something years old after you've been on TV for a decade.
But here's the thing about that, Callie. I think that's the problem with her having people around her. No one is truly there to check her, be like, these moves you're making right now, it's like you want to get here and this is not going to help you do that. So I feel like her having people who are also her family and friends that also work for her has worked against her, where it's like she should have been with this spinoff. It could have been like her brand could have went to another level, but she just messed it up. She probably should have just called Candy and asked her how to do a spinoff correctly because Candy has like 6 of them.
Right.
Yep. She messed over Candy. And she's not the only one that has done Candy like that. Like I said, I really think that if these women are not honest, I think they don't like Candy. I think they do not like that Candy has her own money and she's not dependent on that show and she's not dependent on a man. I think if they really resent that.
I would say the ones who probably I don't think would probably be like a Cynthia or a Kenya.
Right.
Because they had careers before. That's why.
Right.
They have done things. They've had, you know what I mean? They have done things in their careers. And I also think that Cynthia and Kenya both had chances to marry for money and they chose not to. So that's
a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
We know that Cynthia dated.
Yeah.
She dated
Leon for years.
No, the real rich guy.
No, Russell Simmons. They were about to get married, and he cheated on her.
Yes, he left Russell Simmons. So I kind of want to know. I would love like an unauthorized biography of Kenya to find out who all these men were because she dated a lot of people, and she said they were in the industry, but she just smartly kept it quiet.
Well,
I would want to know.
Date Kanye, but he was socially awkward and just very weird, and she didn't feel comfortable going out with him again. I don't
Smart
want to
woman,
but she did give details, and that was weird. I wouldn't have went out with him again either after that.
No, I wouldn't. No.
No. I would have been like, okay, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Right. I was surprised that Kanye wanted a black woman.
Kanye.
Surprise.
His black man kryptonite brings him down every time.
Wait, what? Is this true? Did she date Spike Lee?
I can see that. I can see Cynthia dating Spike Lee.
Oh wait, are we
Into-
talking Cynthia or are we talking Kenya?
Well,
I
Kenya would make sense since she's an actor in Hollywood.
actress, right?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine Kenya with Spike. He's so tiny.
little.
Yeah, he's so
very
tiny.
little.
But that's
Yeah.
I want to know all the men she dated in Hollywood.
Might have been Tyler Perry. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Not no Tyler Perry.
Fair enough.
I would have had her in every movie, every TV show.
Right.
That would have been his.
And you
muse.
see how he treats the people with their lace fronts and edges. Kenya would be like, "I'll be damned. You will not have me out here looking like a fall from grace."
No.
So
'Cause
Simon's future sixth wife, what was your most impactful fight?
My most impactful fight. I mean, I would say the last one, but I would have to say like probably the first one because I've never seen a housewife get snatched up on the reunion like that. Like I was like, whoa, like that was a bit much. I was like, granted, yes,
had a lot of reunions either though at that time.
Right. And I guess when emotions are high, like especially if I don't know why they placed Porsha on the same couch as Kenya on that season to begin with, because they had issues already.
No,
right.
Said why? Because no one else would sit there. I remember said that no one wanted to sit next to her because they did not want something like that to happen.
Not even Candy. They could have switched Candy for
That's
Porsha.
True. They could have had her and Candy because her and Candy were cool with each other.
And that would have worked. But I was just like, these women have a volatile history their first 2 seasons, and you sit them on the same couch with Cynthia and her breast in between them. Like, come on now. Like
because they wanted something to happen.
Right. And honestly, I think I'm not sure if you remember this was a Watch What Happens Live years ago, but Miss Lawrence actually gave Kenya the idea to have the props at that reunion with the scepter and the bullhorn.
No, I love Kenya, but you wouldn't be putting a bullhorn in my face.
Right.
No. I would have snatched that bullhorn out of her hand so fast. That was not, I don't know. I feel like, I'm going to just keep it real. Kenya might be a very nice woman if I met her in real life, but from what we've seen of her on this show, it's a lot of either fighting with someone or being depressed about something. And I wish
instigating.
we would have been able to see something else from her.
I mean, we talked about this. I think that the baby is what we got something different from Kenya.
But that came with a sad note because of the relationship with the father was
terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Well, we know that unfortunately Kenya can't. She doesn't know how to pick a good man, and she wanted a baby. And she wanted a baby. She's ready for motherhood.
I feel like Kenya does. I feel like somewhere Kenya does, but I think she doesn't just want to do the like traditional time it takes to get to know a person and build a relationship. I'm assuming, I don't know if that has to deal with age or time or just like because of her status in reality TV where she just wants to expedite all of that. But I feel like she doesn't. I think that the investment, I don't think it's as strong as it could be for her to have a real relationship.
Because she needs to pick
I think she doesn't like everybody. I mean,
True.
that's perfectly fine too, and she's just more upfront about it.
But I also think that the issue with Mark may have been, and this has always been my theory, I have nothing to back this up, he may have thought that she was moving to New York to be with him. And when she got what she wanted, she was like, no, I'm staying in Atlanta and I'm going to be on this show still. And I think that might be a lot of the animosity because now he has a child across the country and that's not what he signed up for. Now that's just my theory.
You're so nice. I think that you really needed money to pay off them tax bills and keep
What tax bills?
He had some tax issues and supposedly Kenya paid them off.
So that was the financial arrangement that she made with him.
I don't know. You think Kenya is that?
I think that Kenya wanted she wanted a quote unquote pretty baby. And I think that she just looked for what she thought would make an attractive child. And I don't think that she had very much value in Mark. And I think that clock was ticking. And it's like...
No, it had already had ticked by that point.
Yeah, I think that she wanted...
She was able to have that child.
But also,
And
Callie, she rented Walter in her first season, the
I don't
tow
think she
truck
had to
driver.
rent Walter. No, you're trying it, Simon's
Really,
56 wife.
really. No, let's not
Well,
talk
I
about
mean, that was what the
said it.
Phaedra was saying. She rented Walter.
He said it
And
was
we're
an
gonna believe
arrangement to be on the
Creonta.
show.
I'm not saying I believe Creonta. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Anything is possible. Do I actually believe it? No. I'm just being ridiculous. But that was kind of just like, it just seemed odd that she was chasing after, not chasing, but just like she wanted to marry him. And then when things didn't work out, that's when she started throwing mud at him and saying a whole bunch of things that weren't true.
I didn't like Walter from the get-go.
I don't think he was a real relationship. I think not the producers, but I think it had something to do with the production of the show. I think it was a storyline.
Because she's the only housewife who didn't have a husband. How you gonna be a housewife without a husband?
Well, they do usually have a single friend.
Wait, Kim was dating somebody's husband, so the franchise was started with mistresses.
They already had a single lady on there.
Sheree was divorced.
Well, she was getting a divorce when
They was going through the divorce when it first started.
Yeah, so I mean,
no, they don't have divorced women all day long, but I think they have a little bit of an issue with the women who have never been married. That's just from me watching these shows.
I'm not gonna lie, Kim was my favorite. I liked the drunk. She was eating pizza, going to
smoking
the
cigarettes,
gym, smoking cigarettes, singing off key.
Oh Lord, no! Don't do that.
That first couple of seasons, I loved her and Mimi. I loved their little stupid fights, but
but when she told Sheree, "Ooh, I wish I was black," I was like, "What? No."
Yeah, it started getting very weird.
Weird. Like what?
She was appropriating. She was appropriating.
Yeah, she was right. Like, okay, boo. All right.
If Sheree was really her friend, she would have told her to get some human hair and stop wearing them synthetic wigs.
Them sad synthetic wigs.
But Derek J was doing her wigs at the time too.
Walter
I don't think she had met him at that point when she was.
I think her wigs got better when she got with him. I agree.
Yeah, once she got with Derek, they got better. Yes.
Yeah.
But before Derek, they were sad as heck. Ooh, Lord, no.
So Sheree was trying to get them 7 figures. Good boy, I know. I think that's the reason why we didn't get the joggers yet, because she was waiting for that money to come in from Bob.
Well, I explained in one of the early videos why she didn't get that money from Bob.
She didn't get the money from Bob? No,
because
she got some. She
could not. So the reason that Phaedra looked so stupid in that court case was because Sheree did not tell Phaedra that Bob was they were supposed to split the proceeds from the home. Sheree refused to give up the house that they were in, that she filmed in season 1, and then the house was taken from them, thereby losing him at least $1 million. So if you're trying to get $1 million in child support and you owe the man $1 million, it's a wash.
They cancel each other out. They cancel each other out.
Settlement, and she brought an Aston Martin, and her attorneys repossessed it because she had not paid them.
Right, and that's also the time that
some sort of settlement from Bob.
But it was not the 7 figures that she thought she was going to get, because she owed the man more than that.
Yeah.
And so, but that's why Bob was, sticking his tongue out at the court case, because she looked stupid. He didn't even need to get an attorney. All he had to do was show that she failed to vacate the property that they both own, and that was that. Sheree's not like the
gold digging stuff. This is like all Bob's money. What were you doing, Sheree? You could have had a huge career in fitness. You could have had a whole fitness brand by now.
Right.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is the long-term story of this gold.
She tried. Callie, she tried. She's just not that swift. She's not business minded.
When did she try to do a fitness?
I don't think she tried, y'all. I really don't.
Season, yes, Sheree's tried multiple things. First it was the fashion show with no fashion. Then she tried to
be an Oscar-winning actress.
She wanted to be an actress. She also, one season, if you remember, she was going over to the girls' houses and making them smoothies, and she had become a trainer.
When was
that? Didn't pan out.
Years to build these things, not months.
I'm just running down the list.
Trying. I'm sorry.
Well, when
you did it for a month and stopped.
When you present it on the show, it's on your list. She also, there was one other thing that she did. She was trying to do a real estate show. So she got a real
Yeah.
estate license and she was trying to sell the
I
show,
remember that.
similar to like Ladies That List. But whatever the show was, kind of like what they did to Mariah, they took it from her because she didn't actually own it. So yeah, Sheree has tried. Sheree is like one of those multi-level pyramid scheme people. She will try anything and she doesn't put anything into it to make it come to fruition.
Exactly.
I mean, look,
Yeah, she
Yeah.
does something for a month and moves on to something else. You know? Yeah.
Sheree,
she got a short attention span. It's not gonna you're not gonna make money overnight. It don't work like that.
I mean, look at
I
Candy
think
and
she's
like how
trying.
OLG started.
I honestly think that Sheree is on the same trip that Porsha is on. Like, I should have just been able to get all this money from Bob and live good for the rest of my life because I was married to this rich man and I really have no real aspirations. I'm just doing things so I'm in a position to meet men. That I mean, I honestly think that that's what's going on with a lot of these women. But the problem is we're seeing the whole story. We're not just cutting off at happily ever after. The tape keeps rolling. And the tape has, you know what I mean? And you keep rolling
Right.
the tape to see that, okay, that's how this ends up, you know? But at the end of the day, most of them are better off than where they were before, but they're not as well off as they could have been with the opportunities that they had because they spent all their money on trying to get all their time on trying to get money out of a man instead of building their own brand.
Right.
I agree with that.
Because even like Candy has said she would never leave the show, and she's like, "Where am I gonna go? Where are they gonna pay me all this money to have lunch with a bunch of ladies?" And basically, like she just uses it to promote all of her businesses that she has. So that's why she has really she. I think Candy is like the standard of how to use reality TV to your advantage,
Right?
At least from on the Housewives.
Well,
I
from
think
what
Bethany
I
takes the
heard,
cake. I think Bethany Frankel really wears the crown with that. But Candy is right up there. And much like all the other people have clauses in their contract where they have to pay Bravo. Like some of the proceeds from whatever business they start and promote on the show goes to Bravo. I think they said Candy and Bethany Frankel are the only two that do not have to pay.
Because they paid their dues early on, probably.
Right.
No, because they put it in their contract and they knew their worth.
Right.
So you telling me Wendy and her candles from Potomac, she gonna have to pay them IOE candles to Bravo too?
Maybe that's why the candle's $45.
Exactly.
Guys, somebody asked what the last chapter is about. It's gonna be about like Porsha Luther King, that kind of stuff.
The Black Lives Matter and twerking when she's getting arrested.
Her and Yandy getting arrested. Somehow Tupac is mentioned, Nipsey Hussle. So we're gonna.
They need to do a Comedy Central roast with Porsha in this book and her life on reality TV.
Oh Lord!
And invite all the housewives to just drag her through the mud.
Oh wait, Gabor. No, you see.
She has no follow through. Ooh, Gabor.
A lot of Candy's endeavors are not successful, but I do think that Candy has that old, like a lot of people, because I remember Master P said this, we are still living off of money we made from music 25 years ago. So I think that Candy's got that money from back in the day when they were making real money in the music industry. So she can do little hobbies and just be on TV for attention and she'll be fine. And Candy also lives in Atlanta where it's a little bit cheaper to live. So I'm sure that Candy's living expenses are not out of this world.
Well, like, she said that she doesn't spend money. She spends her check from the show. So all the money that she had when she started the show is still her money. She's never touched it. So to say she has like 3 restaurants, that sex toy line, all of those people who distribute her sex toys, I think that she's done pretty well. She's been able to build her own studio, so people utilize that.
Right.
I think she has like 2 or 3 clothing stores that sell clothes that she would wear. So, not very expensive clothes, but like affordable stuff.
Yeah, things that you realistically buy.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think her son now has his own clothing line.
Ace. Yeah, he
sell.
does.
Ace. Oh.
Well, yeah. So Candy
is so shady.
But Ty sure does spend the money, his allowance. He better.
Oh, Lord.
The hell?
And on that
James,
note,
really,
guys,
you want to put that video?
at that note, we're gonna have to close out. We'll definitely be here next week for the last chapter of Porsha.
The last chapter. The last chapter. Is this chapter 10?
No, 11. It's
Chapter 11.
the final chapter.
You know, adding up all them 6-page things, this really was a 5-chapter book. Why she perpetrated?
But you know what? Also, this is the first time Porsha has been like off TV, like off TV in many years. She's not doing Dish Nation anymore. I don't think Bravo chat room is coming back.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. It
worked out
shouldn't.
well for her, didn't it?
I wouldn't say that Bravo chat will come back because it costs very little to produce that show. Really, it's just a camera crew, hair and makeup, and they're just sitting talking. I would not be surprised if they brought that back. Just like,
Who was really watching that show? Who was really watching Bravo chat?
Nobody's watching Andy's show, but he got another 2 seasons. He got greenlit for 2 more seasons.
Because he's doing the greenlit.
Thank you. He
loves Porsha, so I could see the Bravo chat room coming back because he loves Giselle and he loves Porsha. Do we need it? No. But it's cheap to produce.
It's something to stop them from showing reruns. It's something to fill up airspace.
All right, whenever he goes on vacation, they just put Porsha's the Bravo chat in place of Watch What Happens Live.
Well, that's what they did last time. Yeah, when he was off, they stuck that on for a few weeks to cover. So we'll see what happens with Porsha. I'm no longer a fan. I could care less where she ends up. I don't even really want to see her on Real Housewives at this point.
Yeah, she messed it up. I unfollowed her.
See her at 50 years old still doing the same fugazi BS.
I don't think that her and Simon are gonna last.
No.
So I do think that we're gonna see Porsha back on our TV screens. Bravo is gonna welcome her back with open arms. But I think they'd be stupid because all these physical altercations is a liability for this show. It's not, nobody's brand is fighting unless you're like Jerry Springer and eventually, yeah. And I think
it's not Bravo's brand really, what she's doing. That's really not what Bravo promotes actually. So, and if that was on, she would have been gone.
So, I mean, on the black shows on Bravo, they kind of do
because they don't say nothing about the white ones. They fight on the other ones too.
Well, no, they fought on New Jersey, and yeah, there's been like physical things on New Jersey. In the very, very beginning of Orange County, there was like a flat out fist fight. Like it wasn't this little hair pulling stuff. Like 2 girls got into a for real fist fight. Like the first or second season of Orange County. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that this is what they ride on. They don't, you know what I mean? Like this is not what they promote. Like, ooh, come look at the fight. I don't feel like that's Bravo. I feel like that's, like you said, more of a VH1 thing.
Gabor is shady. He said Simon going to end up with Miss Diane.
They went to high school together. But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close out. We will see you next week. I've been getting a lot of stuff about Kim and Kanye. I asked my people to DM me, and y'all have been. Some DMs are a little forceful, y'all. A helpful hint is cool, but sometimes y'all get a little forceful. So I probably will be coming back in the next couple of days to do a Kim versus Kanye. Because Kanye's really been losing it.
Kanye not taking his medication.
I don't think this is mental illness. I think this is his personality. I think people just don't want to accept that a person who made music that they like is a bad person.
Save it for the show, Callie. Know you. I'm gonna bring it back. I want to hear everybody's opinion because I definitely have some strong ones, and I don't think that people are gonna be agreeing with me. But the general consensus is I don't like either one of those people as people.
Right.
Exactly. I said.
But yeah, we're going to talk about it. Remember, follow me on Instagram. Make it make sense now. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm glad that you were here. I'm glad that y'all wrote it out with me. because if it wasn't for people saying, "Are you going to finish the book?" I would not have. I would not have.
And I give you props, bro. You did better than me. You did
I
better
was
than me.
done after. I mean, the thing about it is to be able to talk to you guys, to have my YouTube community on it. Like, that's been great. It's fun. Like, doing it with Monty was fun today, but I definitely did not want to keep doing this book.
You need a book a day at the spa after you finish so you can get your brain cells back.
Right.
I need some
Decompress. Yes.
I need some echinacea. But all right, guys, say goodbye because we gotta go.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Have a good one.